Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Sean. Okay, and today we will be joined for this upcoming session by, as Sean mentioned, Miss Mayzen Ting, the program leader for the Diploma of Accounting and BA Honors of Accounting and Finance with Peninsula College. Hello, Mayzen. How are you doing today?
I'm great. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mayzen. I'd like to thank Bihons for inviting me to give a sharing today. Okay, like what Bihon just said, I'm the program leader for two programs. One is our homegrown program, Diploma of Accountancy, and the other one is an UK Bachelor degree in Accounting and Finance. Okay, well, I'm a fellow member of ACCA. I'm also a member or chartered accountant of Malaysian's Institution of Accountants. So after I graduated from SPM, I actually pursued my study further with AAT and ACCA in Singapore. So after I completed my study in 2001, I actually started off my career working as an auditor with one of the big four international accounting firm. And I was quite involved in coaching my junior staff at that time. So I would then progress my career as a senior finance manager by joining one of the biggest loss adjusting firm in Malaysia. And finally, I changed my career path to become an educator in 2012 as I realized that I do enjoy more to share my knowledge and skill with others.
All right, thank you, Mayzen. So, as today's topic is talking about the career and study options in accounting, maybe you could share with us why do you want to be an accountant in the first place? Is this something that you have dreamt of since you were young?
Frankly speaking, I wanted to become a singer or superstar when I was young. Okay, I never thought of becoming an accountant when I grew up, seriously. But the reason for me to study accounting initially was purely because my father advised, because my father asked his children to do so. It sounds very weird, but it is true, because due to his special request, 5 out of my 6 siblings, we are all chartered accountants.
Wow.
Three are fellow member of ACCA, and the other 2 are Australia CPA. And so many people making fun of us, say, "Oh, you guys have the genes of studying accounting," but it's actually nothing to do with our genes. It's all about the employability. I need to stress that my parents, they are not highly educated. They actually worked so very hard to raise their family. So what my father wanted is actually very simple. He just hoped that we as a children are able to earn a living by getting a recession-proof job when we graduate. Because at that time, right, getting a secure job is kind of difficult. So they always wanted an iron's rice ball. So to him, accountant is a recession-proof job because no matter whether it's a boom or recession, a company or business still need accountants to prepare the financial report for them. They need to fulfill the different requirements for filing, for submissions, and the business also need accountant to analyze their financial health, their performance, so that they're able to make an informed decision and manage their business better. So because of my father's advice, 5 of us, our siblings, and we never get off the job.
Okay, that's really good. But the next question may think otherwise, because with the advancement of technology, do you think that accountants will be replaced by artificial intelligence, or would they face challenges in getting a job in the future due to possibly me and you being replaced by robots?
Okay, this is quite a true question. Okay, due to the technology advancement, that it has caused some of the jobs slowly disappearing over the past 50 years, and we have witnessed this. But when some of the jobs disappearing, but yet it also created other new jobs for us. For example, YouTuber. We never heard of YouTuber 30 years ago. We say, what's YouTube? Okay, so a lot of new jobs coming out, and there's a lot of jobs disappearing as well. And there's no reason for us to suppose that this trend will not continue. So we've foreseen that a lot more jobs will be created as well. So with the introduction of artificial intelligence, a lot of repetitive and manual work, for example, data entry, and they can be automated with machine learning software. So before we discuss whether or not accountants will be replaced by AI, I would think that it's good to know that the difference between the bookkeeper and accountants. So bookkeepers are actually focusing on recording financial transactions, okay, while the accountants are tasked with summarizing all the financial information, analyze them, interpret them, and the last thing is they have to report the financial information to the board of director or to the stakeholders. So their role are quite different. So you can see that the bookkeeper are actually just playing a role in the accounting process. And their tasks are very straightforward and routine. And so that we say that the accountants can be a bookkeepers, but not all the bookkeepers can be accountants.
Okay.
So because of the nature of the bookkeeping is so routine and so straightforward, and a lot of the bookkeeping tasks and work, it was automated since 1970s, and many bookkeeping job has been slowly disappearing as well. So even though we say that the bookkeeping roles has been automated, but accountants are still need to know how to do it and to ensure that there's no wrong information being entered into the system. So that our role has changed, even though we are not to be like those days we had to key in all this information, a lot has been replaced by machine, that is true, but our role has changed. We need to supervise them, to supervise it on the automated process so that we ensure that there's no fraud and all the information are complete, accurate and timely, so that these are very useful for them. Okay, and for this process, right, I still think that we still need human intelligence, because we need that to think of a way that fraud can be committed and to ensure that the computer systems are not compromised. And these are the things so far right now that an AI cannot achieve. Okay, there's a research that I have looked at that day. There's a research from the University of Oxford. It said that accountants have 95% chance of losing their job because of the machine takeover, the number crunching, and the data analysis, especially in our today's era of big data. This is true. Okay, a lot of those very tedious jobs and data analysis has been taken over. So because of that, we are actually expecting that the accounting department will be downsized or trimmed down overall, and the accountant left will be able to focus more on strategic initiative, so that we don't expect accountant doing those very routine and manual work. We're expecting them to focus on more higher level, such as the process improvement, cost control, and the working capital optimizations. So this is the role has changed. So on the other hand, AI actually improve for the audit side, is improve the audit quality of the auditors. So because the AI, right, it enable to analyze the full population of the data, and it can also identify a lot of exceptions. Because for auditor, we need to so-called check the account, but the better word is examine the financial statement. So that there's a lot of data we need to examine, to check through. So by human being, it's quite hard for us to do 100% correct. So with the AI, we're able to increase our sample size, we're able to analyze more data, and we're able to identify some exceptions and problems. So that because of AI, the benefit of this, it's able to make possible for the auditor to work better and smarter, and also make their work more efficient. So that for the auditor, they just need to use their human judgment to analyze a broader and deeper set of data and documents. So that even though we are afraid that AI will replace our work, but at this stage, we can see that AI actually just replacing a very routine work. For the higher level work, right, is still doing by us. And then our focus has changed, but for the time being, AI actually help us to improve our efficiency and effectiveness. Okay. And and the one thing I need to stress, maybe in 50 years in the future, or maybe 30 years down the road, we believe that the accountant, the skill set the accountant need to have, need just like those days, just know how to do the account, reporting, and so on. The accountants in the future, they need to be reskilled. They need to become more tech savvy, because there are lots more software coming out. So they need to know how to operate, how to use them, how to utilize all this AI to help them to improve their efficiency and effectiveness. But one drawback is AI, it looks like it can do a lot of thinking for us, but the cost is very expensive. So right now, only the massive firm can afford them. So I believe that accountants will not be replaced by AI in the near future. This is what I think. This is to answer the first question, whether they will replace by AI.
Replace the jobs, yes.
For the time being, no. But you see, 50 years later, probably, we won't know, depends on the advancement, but for the time being, we see it's quite unlikely.
Okay.
So whether or not the student who studied accounting, are they still able to get their job after they graduate? So we think that ever since 18th century, 1980s. And because of the globalizations, they encourage a lot of international trading so that the accountants are actually highly in demand. And until today, you're able to see that there's still a lot of accounting related posts out there, still a lot. And according to our 2018 Tracer study, 95% of the accounting and finance student or the graduate get their jobs within 6 months of graduating.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So this is one of the most highly in demand job in Malaysia. So that and in every industry as well. So I don't see there's any reason why in the near future the accounting student or the graduate is unable to get the job. It's quite unlikely. And there's one thing I need to stress is a lot of students or accounting graduate they thought that they can only do become an accountant.
One job, yeah.
Yeah, but actually there are many way outs for them. They can become an auditor, they can become a tax consultant, can become a financial accountant that preparing on the accounts and the reporting. They can also become a management accountant that is more on the internal, look at the company costing. And they can also become a financial analyst or financial controller, or probably they could become a lecturer like me if they like teaching.
Just like you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So for accountant, there are so many way out. It's not only one. So there's so many way out you can do. So right now, I don't think that you won't get a job if you graduate.
Okay. So before I become an accountant, assuming that I'm fresh out of SPM, or I'm still new towards deciding my career in accountancy. I'm trying to figure out whether should I do a degree in accounting or pursue an ACCA. Could you share with me what are the difference between these two, the degree and also the ACCA qualification?
Okay, there are four main differences I would say. The first difference is accounting degree is actually an academic degree awarded by a university. The uni gives you an academic degree. And for the ACCA, it's actually a professional accounting qualification that awarded by ACCA. And ACCA is a body of professional accountants. There are two different levels. And then the second difference is actually the accounting degree is actually the course structure itself consists of many different subjects. It makes the course interesting, and it have core accounting subject. It also have other elective subject that is from relevant fields. So it also includes some assignment, research work, so that students are more well-rounded. They have more well-rounded experience. But for ACCA, right, they are more focused. They have exposed the student to the subject that focus on technical aspect and also the principle of accounting. So that's why those ACCA graduates, right, we call them a professional accountant because they are more competent in that sense. So, which means to say that it trains the student become a professional accountant. That is the second differences. And the third one will be the accounting degree. Typically, we think that this is an easier route compared to ACCA. We all know that degree is slightly easier compared to ACCA. And because the 3 years duration, right, the difficulty level is actually moving from the level year 1, 2, 3, and 2 and 3 is gradually increased. And for the students for the ACCA, and the ACCA is well known to be challenging. And because the ACCA is actually the combination of bachelor degree and master degree into one. And the worst thing is ACCA is 100% exam based. There's no assignment, there's no coursework. Okay, 3 hours exam. If you studied hard for the past 6 months, if you didn't do well for the 3 hours exam, that's it. You have to come back for the 3 months later.
Retake.
Retake. Not like degree, you have a coursework and the exam. Okay, maybe you do well, you pass the coursework. Final, just pass or not really well. You combine, you pass, then you pass. But ACCA, no. Just exam. 1 paper, 3 hours. Pass is pass, fail is fail. That's it. Yeah. And the last difference is we say the duration. For accounting degree, it usually takes 4 to 5 years after their SPMs. So, but for ACCA, it needs approximately 3 years after your SPM. But don't get it wrong. You think that ACCA is faster, but ACCA, one thing is the student are not able to pass 3 years on time if they fail any papers on that. Which means to say that for degree, you know when you will graduate, but ACCA, no. So 3 years is the faster time that you're able to pass you get your ACCA qualification if you're able to pass all the papers that you attempted. So these are 4 main differences.
Okay, thank you so much, Mayzen. Now we are going to take some questions from the viewers, and there's one which actually you answered somehow through the earlier explanation. Someone is asking, how long do I need to study to be an accountant in an MNC company? So I'm assuming that this person has high hopes and also very, very big dreams to work for an MNC as an accountant.
Okay. Actually, if after your SPM, right, if you take the degree route, it's 4 to 5 years. If you
Yes.
take ACCA, appraisal 3 years, but it is provided that's a condition, provided you pass all the papers. But
Okay.
but the main differences is if you're able to get the ACCA qualifications, you are considered as higher level, slightly higher level than normal degree student because you are a professional accountant, because you are more technical competence.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course, if he or she finished his SPM and he or she wanted to become an accountant in the future, so that probably he can start off with the diploma, then move on to degree if he wanted to, or diploma, then move on to the ACCAs.
Okay. And this is another very interesting question in the comment section. I heard accountants make a lot of money. Is that true?
Oh, really? actually, I heard doctors and lawyers earns even more.
Oh.
Yeah, especially the surgeon. Okay, I think this is a misperception from many people. Whether
Okay.
or not you make a lot of money, it depends on which industry you are in and what position you are actually holding. Okay, so of course, when you're holding a higher position, you are more experienced, you're higher qualified, and you're able to contribute more to the company. Of course, you earn a lot more compared to just a normal accountant.
Okay.
So I would say that if you want to really earn a lot of money, accounting degree is not enough. It's just an entrance for you. It's just because everyone is just a graduate, so nothing special. In order to stand out from the rest, you need to have something different. Add value, for example, top up your qualification with ACCA or CMA or ICAW, any professional qualification. And then from also from your work, with your experience, with your qualification, then you're able to earn a lot more. But what I heard is among the profession that I mentioned just now, what I
Yeah.
heard is the tax consultant usually earns a lot of money. The reason
So
being is, because they are the one advising the company to save a lot of money. For accountant, we're actually a cost center. We're just helping them to prepare account, report report to the directors and so on. This is a cost center. But for the tax consultant or the tax specialist, right, they actually help the company to do tax planning, help the company to do some tax saving. So the company able to see some money saved for them. So of course, they will be awarded for that as well.
So, a word of advice to our viewers out there: if you're considering a career in accounting, tax consulting is something to look at. Okay, and one final question. I believe this could be from somebody who is looking to consider the opportunity of going into accounting. So, he says, "Hi, accountants tend to work late often. Is that true? I want work-life balance in my accounting career."
I don't think nowadays not only accountants working late, no people working late as well. So again, I would say that whether or not accountant will work late, it depends on the corporate culture. The first thing is the company culture. If the company have that kind of culture, everybody working late, so I think you will work late as well. This is the one thing. But I would say that if I want to split between the corporate, the commercial, and the audit line, right? For the corporate, for those accountants working in the corporate or in the or commercial industry, they usually will be very busy every month end or year end because they have to do month end closing, year end closing to close all the book and prepare for the documents to report to the board directors. Then for auditor, it seems like it's quite unlikely to knock off at 5:30 sharp every day. Because for auditor, because we have a lot of portfolio, and then the client have different year end. They have December year end, they have March year end, June and September. Like throughout the year, you have so many portfolio. You have different year ends, and the key thing is all this portfolio and all this client, right? They actually have a very tight audit deadline. So after they close that book, they have to examine their report, their accounts, and then to prepare the report and so on. So, and there are so many jobs at one time. So for auditor, usually it is quite hard to get a work-life balance, I would say. But the experience that you get from auditing is very rewarding because you broaden your horizon. You have exposed to many industry.
All right. And I also see one final comment by Datuk Michael Teo suggesting accountants to go for MBA as well.
If you are in the commercial, yes, because accountant ultimately, if you progress further to as a finance manager, or maybe you progress to the financial controller, somehow you are no longer just preparing financial statements or financial reporting. Your role is more on helping the company, how to help the board director, maybe the boss, to run the company better. So that MBA is more on like management side. So this is the area that for ACCA, for example, ACCA, maybe we are more focusing on accounting aspect, technical. For management, we do learn some, but we are not that in depth. So that if you want to progress further in your career as a FC or as a finance director, so it is good that you top up with an MBA. It's true. Because you need other skill set to run or to manage a team better.
All right. And that explains well as who knows the business better than the accounts team, and slowly growing and upskilling, taking various courses, and ultimately one day could be promoted to the CEO as well.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all for our session today. Thank you so much, Mayzen, for spending time with us on Saturday evening. So I'll pass this session back to Sean. Thank you, Mayzen.